And good afternoon. I'm Tracy Sinclair. With me is Kristen Duran. Just walked off the set of your news at noon. And we're talking about this day in Alaska history because we are doing a whole segment all the way through from this past July 4th through next July 4th called We the People.
A full year of history, Alaska history. It's exciting. Yeah, and this is this week in Alaska history. So several days this week were very historic in Alaska. You want to talk about the first one?
Right. Some pretty major things happened that all of us are going to go, and a couple that I feel like I should have known about and I did not know about. This one, I was pretty young. I was up here, but I was pretty young. This was Susan Butcher and Joe Reddington Sr. and their pilot were found safe after their plane had gone down about 90 miles west of McGrath. Now, I just have some sort of file video of Susan Butcher and Joe Reddington, but I didn't remember this story.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, and so it did get reported in the New York Times that two dog sled racers, I mean, they're iconic, and their pilot were rescued after spending 2 days in the Alaska wilderness. This is how it was written by the Associated Press following a plane crash. Now, Joe Reddington Sr. at the time was 62 years old. Susan Butcher was 24, so she wasn't really an iconic musher yet. I understand that she was a dog handler for Joe Reddington, and they were reported missing after their plane failed to stop in McGrath to refuel, and they said searchers from the Elmendorf Rescue Coordination Center were joined by 15 other planes, many of them flown by volunteers associated with the Iditarod sled dog race, which of course Reddington founded in 1973. I mean, you think about it, we always talk about the Iditarod Air Force and how those planes are out. And so those were the people that went up into the air. And I guess Susan Butcher said that the engine quit. They were about 1,500 feet up in the air, no lakes in sight, and the plane was on floats. And so she said they made 3 bounces, hit a bank, and rolled over.
And you know, this happened in August, which, you know, it could have turned out much worse if it had happened in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, what an incredible story of survival there.
Yeah, and this one, we've been talking about Mount Spur a lot in the last 6 months in particular, because it's been rumbling. Now it has calmed down and we're back to a green level, so we're no longer under an advisory. But in 1992, that did not happen. It actually erupted, and it was really sort of amazing. I'm getting my video here real fast for you. I want to make, No, I didn't skip one. There we go. Take it.
Wow, look at that plume of smoke.
Oh my gosh, this was just amazing to me because the gentleman who gave us this video, R.G. McGimsey, also spoke to us. And they'd been getting reports from pilots of seeing ash, and it had already erupted once. So they're like, no, Spur did its thing, like just the month before. Spur's done its thing. It's not doing it, but they went up above the clouds, and as soon as they got above the clouds, that's when they saw it.
So this one came as a surprise.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so because it had just been rumbling because of the previous one, so they didn't know this was happening. And basically, he said, we're going to stay up here as long as we can because it was so amazing. And then the pilot said, yeah, the ash is going back towards Anchorage. If we're going to land, we got to go now. And they basically just beat the ash back into the Anchorage area.
Wow. So just think, this is 33 years ago. We could have been seeing this site for a while. We thought we were going to be seeing this same site sometime around this time, 33 years in the future. So yeah, it's crazy. And we just got this information this week that the likelihood that it's going to erupt anytime soon has gone way down.
Which is good. Yes. And I also do want to recommend, we have this really interesting story from Mr. McGimsey that you can see in our program called Volcano Watch. And while you say, we're not watching the volcano quite as closely as we were, we're continuing to watch it. Yeah. And the information in it, we talk about the science of the volcanoes, how they monitor them, the difference between the ash that came out of Spur between 1953 and 1992, how different though, and why it's different. And so even if we're not talking about, it's going to erupt soon, all of the information is still valid.
Right, and it's all very interesting too. Yeah. Even you just want to go and watch it and just see how we covered it back in 1992 and how to prepare just in case, because while it's not likely to happen anytime soon, it still could happen, and likely in the future at some point. So
Right, and
good information to know.
Yeah, and it's a good show, and like I said, we did speak with Mr. McGimsey, and is it definitely worth a watch. His tale, if nothing else. And I also want to say this is interesting. This is what we see today when we think of Prudhoe Bay, but in 1826, Sir John Franklin arrived at Prudhoe Bay. It was named during his mapping expedition. I can say that word in 1826 after his first Arctic voyage, and then in 1845 they went back. They're looking for, as many people were, the Northwest Passage going through the Canadian Arctic, and he and his 128 people on his 2 ships got stuck in the ice, and he died there. It says about, when I looked up, about 105 people survived partially and started to walk out, and there were rumors. I don't have any confirmation of this. Rumors that they turned to cannibalism.
Oh my gosh.
So, but many of them died from, they figured out later, from botulism and scurvy. We've talked a little bit about scurvy with Vitus Bering as well, but because they think maybe they had some poorly canned meats and products that they were carrying on ship, and that was what they were trying to use to survive. And then they ended up with botulism and getting sick anyway.
And we know you can get scurvy it's a vitamin C deficiency,
Yeah.
usually, so.
Yeah, so, and of course, stuck in ice.
Have your vitamin C.
Yeah, and now we know.
Tragic story all around. It sounds kind of like a movie.
Yeah, I'm so many of these things that I'm learning as we go through this, I keep thinking, there's got to be a book about this. I think I need to go read this, because
Or you could write one.
Or I could write one. I should do the research, because some of these stories are absolutely fascinating. Yeah. Like this one down on the Kenai. Kenai was founded by the Russians. Of course, the Dena'ina Athabascans have been there at least since 1000 AD. But then the city of Kenai kind of grew up around an influx of fur traders, Russian fur traders, in 1791. That was on August 20th, and it was established by the Lebdevid Loschkin Company.
I'm not even going to try to say that, but yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, so it was as a Russian fur trading post called Fort Nicholas in 1791. So, of course, this is what we do on the Kenai now. We get lots of great fishing, and it's so beautiful down there and lovely. There's your combat fishing.
The Kenai as we see it now, it's interesting to think about what it might have looked like all these years back.
Yeah.
In 1791.
Yeah, when they're coming in as for fur trading. This one is interesting from a TV standpoint. And Eric Sohl, who is often on with me when we do these, he brought this to my attention that in 1953, the Northern Commercial Company, they displayed the first TVs in Fairbanks at the Tanana Valley Fair.
Wow.
Now, what's interesting about this is in August, on August 20th, there were no TV stations operating in Alaska.
So what did they watch?
They couldn't watch anything. You could turn it on, but there was nothing there. So if you bought it, and the prices ranged, and in $1953, $259 to $419.
Today's dollars, $3,000 to $5,500, which is still a lot of money for a TV. I mean, you can buy a TV today for $419, so that is
a
wild.
nice TV for that, because my TV is like a $100 TV. I'm cheap. But the other thing, it was a year and a half before there was going to be a TV station on the air in Fairbanks, but in Anchorage, KFIA, which was the precursor to us. We eventually changed our call letters to KTUU and KTVA. Both of them went on the air in December of 1953. So still another 4 months before there was any TV station in Alaska.
They had the TVs, they just had to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
So kind of a status symbol, I would assume, that's what. This was another one. Now, full disclosure, I was working for Alyeska Pipeline Service Company when this happened. I don't remember this. Okay. I feel like I should remember this because I don't, but it's 1993, so it is 4 years after the Exxon Valdez, and commercial fishermen formed a blockade to stop tankers from getting to the Alyeska Pipeline terminal in Valdez. And this is interesting, and this is how KTUU told that story back in 1993.
Exxon kept 2 tankers out of the Sound, but BP's Adigan Pass ignored the threat of a blockade that forced the fishermen to make a decision.
We're here to make a statement, and we're trying to get attention that Prince William Sound is not alive and well, and to get that attention, we have to have a confrontation. And if we don't have the confrontation now, we might not have it.
The fishermen are frustrated. Their demands for talks with Exxon or state and federal officials ignored.
Is there anybody here who is adamant about not stopping this tanker, not protesting against this tanker? Okay, let's go.
In Valdez, Coast Guard officers are trying to balance both sides in the interests of safety.
If I'm not confident that we have a safe navigation area for the tanker to proceed, then we're going to ask the ship to slow down until we can clear it.
The fishermen successfully stopped an Alyeska tug from getting to the Adigan Pass, prompting the Coast Guard to declare the entire Valdez Narrows off limits.
I know you've heard you're in violation of Captain of the Port order for a safety zone, including the Valdez Narrows. Sir, I'd ask you again to make sure that they clear the hole for the tanker to pass and make sure that all ships can pass safely there for your safety as well as everybody else's. Over.
Yeah, roger, roger. I understand your position, Captain.
Not moving could mean a $25,000 fine.
Another Waco, Texas. We're not moving.
Finally, the Adigan Pass did. The supertanker turned around on orders from BP executives in Cleveland and anchored at Knowles Point to wait out the fishermen.
We're trying to get the oil companies and the press and the government to respond to us and let us act like we're human beings and realize that we have a problem here.
Right now, there are no tankers at the Alyeska Pipeline Terminal in Valdez, but there are 3 waiting to get in. But before they can get past the blockade, their owners, the state and the federal government, are going to have to deal with the fishermen of Prince William Sound. In Valdez, Mark Gillespie, Channel 2 News.
So interesting.
That's incredible. They said, "You shall not pass," and they succeeded.
They did. They got Governor Hickel to meet with them after they successfully turned back the Adigan Pass.
Shows what you can do when you band together.
Yeah,
and
so
they got answers.
Yeah, really interesting story. And then this last one, big day for Alaska.
Yeah.
It is the day, the 24th in 1912.
1912, yeah.
Alaska officially became a territory with the passage of legislation that provided for territorial legislation.
Yeah, August 24th, 1912. That's when the Second Organic Act was passed by Congress. This act designated Alaska as a U.S. territory and established a territorial legislature, although the governor was still appointed by the president. Very interesting.
Yeah, just some, beautiful shots of our beautiful state over the last couple of years. Yeah, so kind of an amazing that's where it all started, and then it still took another, math is not my strong point, 47 years,
yep,
I think, before we became a state. But we did become a territory on August 24th, officially in 1912.
Wow,
so very cool.
Incredible historic, showcasing Alaska's history. A lot of things happened this week in Alaska's history this week. So yeah, pretty fascinating stories.
Yeah, so we got a lot going on, and every week I say that. Every week I'm like, oh my gosh, there's all these new stories, because Alaska just has this wonderful, rich history, and just love being able to share it. And thank you for joining me.
Yes.
We are going to end up here, and we will see you back here next week for another This Week in Alaska History.
Thanks for watching. Have a great day.